Welcome to the Write, Publish, Market podcast. If you're a business owner thinking a book would be a great marketing asset for your business, you're in the right place. Maybe you've already committed, even better. I'm your host, Jodi Brandon, book publishing strategist and partner for business owners, CEOs, and entrepreneurs, and 20 plus year veteran of the book publishing industry. On the Write, Publish, Market podcast, in addition to learning from me and other industry experts, you'll hear from other business owners about their experiences as we explore all facets of writing, publishing, and marketing a book that will help your business grow in ways you might not even be dreaming of yet. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back, Heidi.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you back talking.
I'm excited.
All things book visibility. Yeah.
Yes.
My caveat to listeners is that you work primarily with traditionally published authors, but this information applies no matter what.
This is true, but I just started working with some hybrid authors as well. So,
well, no matter your path to publication,
yes,
this information is information that you need. So,
yes, and actually, it's even more. I think it's even more pertinent for people that are self-publishing because it's all on them.
Yeah.
So
I think that's one of like the big myths, right? Is like if you get a traditional book publishing deal, like the marketing and PR department, publicity department, they're going to do everything for you, which I mean, you and I both know that is not the case. But when you're self-publishing, there's not even that, that myth to dispel or that expectation. So Heidi has been on the podcast before. People loved your episode. We've been trying to figure out like, what can we do next? And then you came up with this new opt-in. And the title is You Wrote the Book, Now What? Which I love.
No. It's your publisher won't do it for you.
I thought that was the tagline. I have it backwards in my head. Okay.
It's your publisher won't do it for you. 3 ways authors can build brand and buzz before launch day.
Okay. I had it the opposite way. Okay. That's okay. Listen, still super clever. Yeah. And because, so many people think, oh my gosh, the writing is the hardest part. And I mean, I can speak as someone who has written and published books, like, no, your work is just starting.
See, for me, it's the opposite, right? But I'm wired that way because that's what I do. But like the idea of writing a book, people have asked me, do you want to write a book? And I'm like, hell no. Like the only thing I would even consider is like a picture book, right? Like a design, photography or work or whatever. Like the idea of writing a book to me, I know how much work it is. So that's why I feel so compassionate for authors after they've written the book, because then they have to do my job, right? Like they have to get into my, the creative writing and the content and all of this stuff, and then market yourself as an author and then also market your book. It's a lot of work. So I have empathy.
And a lot of people, it's the harder part for them because they're wired to think in words versus like the creative, it's the other side of the brain. So that's why a lot of people need people like you. What I thought we would do is dig into those 3 things from your opt-in and kind of like dispel those myths. So the first one is sharing your book cover is enough. So that's the myth. You tell me, why is that wrong? And what do people really need to know?
Right. Okay. So often what I see is authors will share a cover of the book. And again, whether or not you are traditionally published, you are a hybrid publisher, or you're doing it on your own, right? You're going to share your book cover. Totally makes sense, right? But then a lot of people just stop there and they think, well, if I pin it to the top of my page, everyone's going to know that I have a book. Now, yes, you can certainly share that. And, that should be a highlight of let's just use Instagram as your feed. But people need to know more about the book, right? They want to know, they want to see the face behind the book. They want to know like who you are, what you stand for, what the book means, and why it matters, right? And I know that's a lot to cover, but really, if you're leading with you as the author, you start to make that connection and build a thread around the book, right? Because a book can come out, a year, let's just say, from when you've written it or you've gotten a deal or whatever your path may be. Yeah. Usually it's 6-9 months or so, people start to think about marketing. That gives you time to build your story, build the reason behind the book. And so that's why only sharing your book cover, you've got to go beyond that.
Yeah, I love that. And definitely do that, but that's the starting point, not like the finish line. Yeah, love that.
Exactly. It's the starting point, not the finish line. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's, yes, love that. Definitely though, share the book more than just pinning it at your top of your Instagram because people don't know.
Exactly.
You think people are way more invested in your stuff than they are.
And half the time they're not seeing it.
Well, that's a great point too. Right.
I mean, half the time, I follow people all the time and I have to actively go to their page to see it. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for another day, but repetition is important as well.
For sure. For sure. Okay. So that's the first one. The second one is the book launch is months away. So I don't have to market yet. And I can like feel you getting ready to cackle like aloud.
Yes.
Yeah. What should that visibility runway really look like? In general terms, obviously, like it's going to be different for everybody.
Exactly. So I on average, we work with our clients somewhere between 6 to 9 months in advance, right? Now, if you're doing this on your own, or if you're bringing on like a book consultant like ourselves, a marketing expert, typically 6 months is ideal because that'll give you time to build up your author platform, right? Yeah. And sometimes people are like, what the F is the author platform, right? That is making that connection to the book, to you, building out that presence so that it's really like a foundation, right? And then everything that comes from that, and I know you speak to this, right? So for people in the nonfiction space, sometimes they're also entrepreneurs or they're educators or they've got a product or something, right? So the book is one element of their overall ecosystem. So making sure that you have that personal brand foundation is really important. And that takes time, right? Yeah. So a lot of times what I'll see is people will just kind of like pop in pictures. Again, I'm using Instagram as the example. This could be talking on Substack. This could be LinkedIn. This could be your YouTube channel. It doesn't matter. Our kind of area of expertise is in social media. So let's just use Instagram. But typically, for example, a traditional publisher will want you to have some sort of feed that helps them, right? That helps them market your book. That helps them get you more press, et cetera. And if you're actually trying to get press, PR, or you're working with an PR agent, or you're trying to do it on your own, they're going to come to your feed and go, where is it?
Where is it? Where is everything? Yeah.
And we just recently worked with an author, Catherine Page Harden, whose book just came out March 5th called Original Sin. We worked with her pretty close to when her book was coming out. So maybe 2-3 months. So not a lot of time. And we built out her strategy. And one of the things I was kind of surprised was when I was talking, she is a top 5 publisher. When we were talking to their internal marketing team, they were like, well, we want, we're hoping, it was kind of a little bit of a hope and prayer type situation where it's like, well, because she only had a personal feed, like private, Instagram feed. Mm-hmm. There was no public facing Instagram feed, no LinkedIn, and no TikTok. She had a Substack, which we didn't do, but basically they were saying like, well, part of our plan is to get like book talk. Okay. Right. And I said, that's amazing, but there is no feed for them to follow or to comment on. And so in a really short amount of time, we built that feed up, and her she went from 0 to like 2,000 in a really short amount of time, which is not a lot, in the ecosphere of stuff, but there was something, right? And you have to have something on your feed for people to connect with and talk about and share, right? So I always say it's like if a tree falls in the forest, right? Or if like someone tags you, there's no one to mention it.
Right.
So it's really important to start as soon as you can, even if it's just little bits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I think, that one of the things that people get caught up in, right? That they think that it has to then be like a full-time job for the 6 months period that you're talking about. No.
Right.
But you have to be consistently working at that.
Exactly.
And talking about the book so that when the book comes out, not everyone is surprised. Like it should not be a surprise when your book comes out.
Exactly. Right. And so some of the things that we tell our clients to do is like, share early reflections, share the why behind the book, the behind the scenes, like, your partner or your kid or whomever, has a picture of you while you're writing your book or whatever. And even talking about your author journey is important. I mean, you've done that, right? So like
absolutely.
how you wrote the book, why you wrote the book, all those things. It makes a connection. And sometimes I think people think visibility is just hype, right? Like, oh, I'm adding more noise to the ecosystem, but really it's building trust. And that trust takes time, right? And it just takes time. So like people start to get to know your personality over time and start to care about the book.
Yeah. Well, especially as a business owner, that's mainly the listeners to this podcast and, people in my world, it's extra important, right? Because you're trying to integrate this book into your business. It's not it's not your main offer. It's a supporting player in your business ecosystem. Yeah. But you should already be probably doing those things anyway, sharing the behind the scenes of your business. So now it's just, I tell people all the time, don't get so caught up in like, it's a book. It's this like super special thing, which of course it is, because it's like it takes longer to do. Usually you're working on it longer than like a course launch or a product launch or whatever. But it really is, at the end of the day, just another product in your business.
Exactly.
You need to figure out where it fits in, where it belongs in the funnel, et cetera, et cetera. But I think focusing on that trust piece instead of like visibility is one of those just like overused terms that
is very buzzy and makes people, I think, nervous, right? Well, what is that? Now I have to
what does it mean
when I show up online? And it's not like that.
Yeah. I love that. So those are good examples. So like share your like behind the scenes of your author journey. Like what other kinds of posts are you telling people during this runway, like pre-launch period to be sharing?
Sure. We always like, kind of an origin story. Like I am this person and this is what I do. And this is what led me to write this book. Yeah. Another one is like why you wrote the book. I wrote the book because at this moment in time, geopolitical, blah, 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 blah. I'm just guessing here, like whatever your book is about. Whatever sparked the book is important. And again, making that connection. And then you can also, pull out a topic from the book. Like if a lot of nonfiction authors, with most of the clients that we've worked with, there's some sort of tip or life lesson or business lesson. And then, you could always spin it to this lesson happened to me 10 years ago, and it's what made me become the person I am today. Here's how it's relevant now, right? Something is happening in the world. Again, it does not have to be this like, big thing, but making those kind of connections to what's happening right now versus this is about my life. Only. Like making a connection to what's happening in the world currently, whatever that may be, is helpful.
Yeah. Well, because readers want to know, they want to know why you are the person to write this book, but they also want to know what are they getting out of it. So
exactly.
Those connections that you can make early on, I think are huge. Okay. A third one is a great book will sell itself.
Yeah, that's not true. I wish it was. If we go to the bookstore, there's so many books, right?
Yeah,
there's so many
saturated
books.
Market for sure.
Don't get me started on book cover design. That's a whole nother topic for another day. If you do the squint test, that's like an old design trick, right? Like you squint to see like, okay, can I read this? Is this legible, et cetera? Yeah. I look now at a lot of books and I'm like, if I see another sans serif book cover where everything looks the same, I am going to die. But anyway, that's not answering your question. I always bring design back into it at some point. So even though you could have an amazing book, like it's your story and your presence that's going to give the book meaning. So when you're thinking about let's just say your Instagram feed, like when you land on someone's account, can you, in those first 9 grid, do you have an idea of who they are, what they do, if they're selling something, what it is, what the book is about, why the book is important to you or to them, and and maybe something personal, right? So like think about that when you're kind of making content, make sure that you're talking about those elements I mean, I could keep going on this, but what other questions?
I know. I love that because like you say, like the book can't be the only thing showing up. Like you have to be, as the author, like you have to be showing up too. And I feel like that's both the good thing and the bad thing about a book, right? Is that once it's out there forever, or until you update it or decide not to sell it anymore, but still people will find it. But you have to still like keep it fresh. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's something that sometimes gets lost on people because they get overwhelmed by that bigger visibility idea. And then they do nothing. Like that. I mean, listen, I see that every single day and I'm sure you do too. Hey there, business owner and aspiring or published author. Sorry to interrupt this episode. Just wanted to check in and see if you're subscribed to Coffee and Commas, my email newsletter, where I share behind the scenes, industry info, and much more about writing, publishing, and marketing a book for your business. Sign up at bit.ly/coffee and commas sign up. That's all lowercase. Now back to the show.
Yeah, and I keep talking about it too. A lot of times people will, even if they're doing everything right, they're either working with experts like us to help market the book, or they're doing it on their own or whatever. Typically the book will come out and then a week or two after the words, and I'm done. And scene. And, I keep telling people, I'm like, people buy books year round. Yes, the launch is really important, and pre-sale is, and we haven't talked about that, but like pre-sale is really important. If getting on one of the coveted lists is important, that's exceptionally important then, to build up that hype beforehand. But then after that, people, they're exhausted, right? Like, like the marathon, I trained for it, now I'm done. But really, there's still more work to be done afterwards, because people buy books year round just because they may not find it during launch week, but they may find it.
They may not find it during launch week, but they might not need it during launch week.
Oh, that's a good point too.
You know what I mean? Like it might not even be on their radar as something they're looking for in a book until 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever later. So
exactly.
Just like nitty gritty here, when you're working with somebody, do you work up to the launch or after the launch also?
After. Typically.
Okay.
Yeah, we typically work with authors in kind of two ways. One is the strategy side at the beginning. And so that encompasses building out or further establishing what their personal brand is, because usually our ideal clients are high achieving women, typically, that are total powerhouses at what they do, and they do not have time to now add social media and talk and then they've written a book. Sorry, let me back up. So they're total powerhouses at what they do, whether they're on TV, they run a Fortune 100 company, they're public speaker, etc. And they adding book marketing to the equation is not part of it.
It's not going to happen.
And also, maybe they're on social media, but they're only on for their personal side, or they just talk about work or something. There's no connection to the book. And so we come in and really establish what their personal brand is, kind of the aesthetics around it, not just around the book, but them overall. We're really just, it's like we're style makers. We're creating the overall look and feel of everything, the book being part of it, the equation.
Yes. Okay.
So we will craft out what that looks like, what their content plan will be, how they should be showing up. It's very tangible. I like people to basically walk away when they have this strategy deck. If they don't hire us, because occasionally, we're too expensive or we're not available or whatever, the timing doesn't work out, and they do it themselves or they hire someone else, we want them to hand this to them and them to go, I don't have any questions because it's all here. Right.
Tells me what I need to do.
So that's always the first step is strategy.
Okay.
And then typically I'd say, 7 out of 10 times they'll hire us to do the marketing. And so that's usually a 6-month window where we are working with them after strategy. And it's usually a couple months after the book launch. And sometimes clients stay with us years after to handle things just going forward. But it depends on every client's needs.
Okay. I love that. Do you recommend, I always tell clients, there's launch time is super, super important. But the book's going to be out there. So like you have to keep talking about it. You have to keep not with the intensity as launch period. Right. I mean, but it's evergreen. So it has to fit into like, and you're doing all this work to build up this brand. Like now don't just let it fade away.
Well, it's part of your thought leadership, right? So
yeah.
A lot of times, and I'm sure you see this too, a lot of times, it then translates to stages, right? So then they're using this as a platform to talk about whatever their book is about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, most people don't write books to make a ton of money, although I have had a couple clients that have done very, very well. And their book is like the basis of their work, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the principles of their book is what they speak on stages about and all of that. So So typically it's strategy and or kind of marketing across the board. And we work with authors in other ways too, but
those are the main ways. Okay.
Those are the main ones.
So for listeners, like these are the pieces you should be thinking about, whether you're hiring someone or an agency like Heidi, like these are the pieces that you have to be thinking about as you're leading up to publishing your book. So all right, I just want to recap the 3 things real quick here, the myths or the spelling here. So sharing my book cover is enough. No. Book launch is months away, so I don't need to market yet.
Yeah.
No. And a great book will sell itself. Sadly, also no. I should have a sound effect button. Like
I know. Little air horn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Well, this is super helpful. I think that the way you lay things out, and we're going to link your opt-in, what your publisher
great. Yay. Awesome.
in the show notes. And if you don't have that, listeners, make sure that you get that. It is,
it's free.
It's free, but it's so packed with information. And your style is just, it's so easy to understand and makes it clear to know what to do. So
I hope so. Thank you. That makes me feel good.
All right, Heidi, I need a reading recommendation. So something you're reading now and loving or recently read and loved.
Yes. Okay. So as I was saying earlier, I am actually reading a past client of mine's book. It's called Dog Medicine by Julie Barton. It is a New York Times bestseller. We worked with Julie on her website. So it's Julie, Julie, Barton, BARTON.com. It's beautiful, if I do say so myself. And so typically when we're working with authors, it's like more on the strategy side and stuff, and we read their book and all of that. But this project particularly was for her website. So I had gotten the book and then it got added to the pile of all the other books. So I just started reading it. Embarrassingly, I just started reading it and it's so good. Anyway, it's a memoir. It's very raw. It's about her very severe depression and how she was able to come out of that by the love of this dog, Bunker, that she adopted, and kind of like Bunker's helping her and she's helping Bunker at the same time. It's really sweet. I don't have dog. We don't have any pets, and I don't have dogs particularly, but like I love golden retrievers, and this dog is really sweet. And so it's a beautiful book. I'm only about halfway through it, but it's really good.
Oh, that's a good one. I do love a good memoir. I love a good memour. Okay. I'm going to take that one out. I just finished Take What You Can Carry, which
I've heard of that.
I'm trying to think of the author's name. And of course I'm blanking like a horrible, horrible book person.
You probably got 100 books on your sheet.
I'll link it in the show notes, but Take What You Can Carry. It is, I'm always interested in, I made a concerted effort the last several years, especially to read more books by non-white women and about other cultures. And this story is about a white female like photojournalist and her Kurdish boyfriend, and they're going back to a family wedding in Iraq from his side of the family. So a lot of people don't know this, but in real life, I'm married to a Chinese man. I'm very interested in the like interracial, intercultural relationship. So it's a very, very moving story. Which
Take What You Can Carry. And it's a memoir or it's fiction?
It's fiction.
Oh, it's fiction. Okay.
Yeah, it's fiction. I read it in like 2 days. It was so good.
Well, you're a fast reader.
I am a fast reader.
I'm painfully slow. Painfully slow.
Yeah, I am a fast reader. What's the other one that I read this month? How to Read a Book. Have you heard of that? How to Read a Book?
No, but that sounds like a good title.
It's a fantastic title. And it's about this woman. It's another novel fiction, but she runs a book club at a women's prison, like near her home. And there's like a couple of other like weird connections, but it's basically, like you get to know the prisoners, you get to know her story. And it was lovely. Both of them lovely.
I have to admit, I can't even remember the last time I read a fiction book. I can't even remember. But those little libraries all over.
Little free libraries. Yes.
And so I stopped by one yesterday and I picked up, I think she's like kind of like the hot writer right now, Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Oh, which one?
She wrote the Daisy Jones book, which I saw the show. I didn't read the book. Yep. Carrie Soto is back.
Oh, yeah, about tennis. Yes.
It's about tennis. That's the only reason why I picked it up. That's the only reason. I was like, let's see if I can read a fiction book because it's about my beloved tennis.
Yes. I want to know when you're done with that, I want you to tell me who you think Carrie Soto is modeled after, because I have a theory about that.
That's like a pro player?
Yes. I think the character is modeled after a pro player.
Okay. So, is it good?
I liked it. I enjoy her books. Okay. What I enjoy about her books is that she doesn't have like a formula to her books.
Okay.
Like I think a lot of writers who have a lot of books out there, they're all like similar. Her book, like Daisy Jones and the Six, was written like interview style. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was written as like 7 little mini stories. Like her writing style is very different from book to book. And I think takes a lot of talent.
That's always been a challenge for me is the fiction side of things. And I think even too, when I think about authors and marketing, we haven't traditionally worked with fiction authors because it's a different a lot of the personal brand is the same, like, showing up that way, that translates either way. But in terms of like character development and like how you talk about that, and you can't give away too much because it's just not something that I read.
Yeah. That's very,
I think it's because I don't know how to relax.
Yeah. You know what? I go through phases where it's like every book I read in the last 3 months is nonfiction. Yeah. And then I'll go through a phase where every book I've read in the last 3 months is fiction. So I'm definitely in a fiction phase. But you're right about that, though. They're almost like 2 separate industries.
It really is.
And then children's books is another one, too.
Sure. I mean, they're young adult fiction. And it's easier. I think it's easier to market nonfiction and memoirs because it's more about the person, right? And I love making that personal brand connection, those stories, the storytelling really at the end of the day. Yeah. And then it's actionable. Yes. I like action. Yeah. So.
That's your zone of genius.
That's I try.
You do. All right. Well, obviously the two of us could like yap about books all day long.
Yes. Thank you, Jodi.
Right. Thank you for coming on again. Tell readers, if they're reading the transcript, but listeners, where's the best place to find you and connect with you?
Okay, great. Well, there's my website, which is spitfiregirldesign.com. And then I'm on Instagram, The Spitfire Girl, and then it'll be in the show notes. But if you want to download the opt-in, it's my URL, spitfiregirldesign.com/publisher.
Okay. All right. We're going to link all of that info in the show notes. This was a delight as always. I appreciate you, my friend.
I appreciate you. All right. Thanks, Jodi.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Write, Publish, Market podcast. I know just how busy business owners and CEOs' schedules are, and I'm grateful you've taken some time out of yours to spend with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, take a quick screenshot and share it on social to let others know you're listening. Use the hashtag Write, Publish, Market to spread the love.